Yeah. I think back to my own experience as well. And, learning from a textbook definitely is important to certain aspects, and you definitely have to have some foundational knowledge. But I think oftentimes when you are reaching your senior year potentially or thinking about that next step, you're like, what do I want to do, right? Like, you know how to do it by textbook, but do you know how to do it in a real setting? And I think that's where a graduate degree can often really help you elevate that experience and really show you maybe this isn't the industry you're going to go into, but this is where it's going to look like in the real world. And it teaches you those tools that you can't necessarily teach in a classroom, right? Like, there's certain people skills and just innate things that happen when you're put into the real life environment and presenting to the real company, like hearing that feedback is not stayed. It's not meant to make you look perfect. It's meant to give you opportunity to grow, really find where you excel and maybe areas of growth and focus on that. And how can we help you further build upon that? So you're not going into it with like a weakness. You're going into it even more prepared. And I think it allows students to really show their value to a company and why they can be an asset versus saying like, I want to be hired by you. It's more so like, why should you be hiring? It's really kind of changing that focus a little bit and giving you that confidence to feel like I'm valuable and I would bring a lot of benefits to you.
I'm kind of chuckling inside because there's a complete difference between the theoretical knowledge, especially in the business realm. Um,
Yeah.
the book is so perfect, as you mentioned, and it
Hmm.
sets you up just to knock it right in. But when you work with a real
Absolutely.
client, I mean, communication problems, cultural problems, language,
Yeah.
expectations, reality, uh, so much
And
difference.
that's really I like about a lot of our programs too, right? Because we do have, domestic students, but we have such a variety of international students that come to these programs and just a diverse background of everyone that comes into it. You're not just learning from the textbook or your faculty, but you're learning from each other. And I think it's representative of an environment you might find yourself in. You might find yourself working with someone whose native language wasn't English. And so you do have to work through that to get to the common goal. And it's not necessarily something you can just grasp out of a textbook. You kind of need that experience. And I think Lehigh really does approach and value the global perspective that we can represent on campus.
Yeah, and that's something that I find very difficult working here in Asia. A lot of my clients, they will say things like, we want it to be better. And I usually just sit there and go, well, what does better mean to you? Like, can we define
Right.
better? Like, what kind of measurables can we put into place?
Exactly. And that could look different per brand goal. You know what I mean? Company, like, what is their ultimate goal? And I think that's another piece that you do learn, like how to kind of, I don't want to say prioritize, but kind of like what is the company goal? And so what should come first, right? Or like or what's the biggest need? You know what I mean? Like, sure, that could be a problem, but that could be a problem that's not actually going to benefit you by fixing it, right? Like, it could be something way bigger. And so I think they're given kind of those tools and a little bit of freedom to kind of discover that, right? Like, you're not just going to have the answer or be able to look it up in the back of the book or, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to work out perfectly, right? Like, it's real time and it could be the right answer. It might not be the wrong answer. It just might not be what they're looking for.